Hi everyone, welcome to the Double Stuff Podcast, where we're double the hosts, double the topics, and double the fun. I'm Charity.
I'm Alan.
And I'm Sarah.
And coming up, we will soon be celebrating a birthday of one of my favorite writers, Dr. Seuss.
Oh.
Yes.
Yay.
Okay.
Yay. So, I have random memories of Dr. Seuss books, but Dr. Seuss books always remind me of like either the dentist office or the doctor's office when you're sitting in a waiting room, and there's always a Dr. Seuss book there just waiting for you.
Huh.
So it's a very comforting sort of book. Did you guys read Dr. Seuss growing up? I know you did, Sarah, since we grew up together.
I did not.
You didn't read any at all?
I mean, I think I was aware of them, but yeah, it wasn't a big deal. We never had Dr. Seuss days at school. I know you guys have talked about like the celebrations, but we never did anything like that. I think that he was obviously he was well known, but nope.
Yeah, because when you said that, because we had Green Eggs and Ham Day.
We did do Green Eggs and Ham Day.
Yeah, and the girls did that in their elementary school, and it was a fun day. And we had kind of a quad in the elementary school in California, and the principal would don a Cat in the hat.
Oh, nice.
And go up on the roof and read through a loudspeaker to all the kids. And it was like a fun day.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But yeah, that wasn't my childhood experience at all. I didn't know any of that.
Did you read them at like the doctor's office or
Never.
anything like that? No?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I guess it wasn't until you had kids of your own that you were actually kind of, I'll say introduced, but that you actually had a reason to read it.
Yeah, and even still, I don't think that we had any Dr. Seuss books at our house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're a little removed from the.
Yeah, not by choice. It's not like I, had a grudge with him or something. I do know that some people have, as of late, and have canceled Dr. Seuss.
Oh yeah.
There's always ridiculousness going on with that.
There's a couple stories that were questionable, but
Very.
I do know normally around Arbor Day, which I think is mid-April.
Okay.
Normally people would talk about the Lorax because he speaks for the trees, and so usually the kids would go out and do something like with nature, or if your school was really into it, you would actually go out and plant a tree on Arbor Day. Mm-hmm. But I think the Lorax is probably one of my favorite stories, but as I've gotten older, I've identified with the Grinch a lot more.
Yeah.
Although I do love Christmas, so don't get me wrong there. But I think Grinch just wanted a nice quiet place to like relax, and Whoville was being a little louder than usual.
Yeah, and growing up, I mean, or not even growing up, I should say, as my kids were growing up, both Grinches, the animated and the Jim Carrey one, the girls absolutely loved that, and I did too. I thought they were fine films. But yeah, I think that was the extent of sort of the Dr. Seuss level in our house, was pretty much limited to Christmas time.
Mm-hmm. Well, we grew up watching, the animated Grinch, of course, but we also grew up watching, there was an animated Cat in the Hat cartoon where he just kind of randomly appears at this brother and sister's house while I forgot the mom were off
somewhere. Was out and he comes in.
The Mike Myers one was pretty funny too. I remember.
Oh well, we definitely didn't watch that one. We just did the animated version. That was pretty.
They
much
did a animated Horton Hears a Who, and then they also did Horton Hatches the Egg. If you remember that story.
Oh yes. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. Elephant's faithful, 100%.
Yeah. But they did, I think, what year? I want to say 2006 or so. They did like not a 3D. What do you call it? Just another animated version. Of Horton Hears a Who.
They did. Yeah. I want to say that one was good.
It was pretty good. Yeah. Because Steve Carell was Horton, right? Okay. And then I thought Jim Carrey.
No, Steve Carell was the mayor of Whoville.
Was he?
Jim Carrey was.
Jim Carrey was Horton?
Jim Carrey was Horton. And I know Carol Burnett had a role as...
She was the kangaroo... Yeah. Whatever, the big kangaroo lady.
So they had a lot of big name people do that. But yeah, Steve Carell was the mayor in the Who,
that was
the Who universe.
Right.
Who universe.
I think I know the girls were a part of some sort of musical theater for Horton Hears a Who, and it was kind of fun.
Seussical the musical.
Seussical the musical. Yeah.
I've always I've
that's
seen
what it was.
But yeah, I'd love to be in a production like that.
It was fun.
I just like Dr. Seuss because he kind of breaks the rules on like what, like I guess how you should write and just his imaginative use of words.
Well, also how you should draw, because I was almost certain when he was taking art classes and he was drawing and stuff, and his art teachers was like, "This is the most hideous form of art I've ever seen." You know,
people have 5 fingers, not 4.
Well, that, and I'm sure everybody just, it's just that look. It's a very distinctive look. Like there's nobody that has that style. So it's not. It doesn't look like something little kids would like. But I think he also kind of mentioned something that. He said he liked to write for people, not just children, which kind of makes sense because when you have like, the places you'll go and stuff, and then that's a gift that you always give to your graduates. Yeah.
Well, I got a little bit of information if you'd like to hear about it.
Please give us some.
So the pen name Dr. Seuss began as a way to escape punishment in college. In 1925, in the midst of Prohibition era, Seuss and his friends were caught drinking gin in his Dartmouth dormitory door.
Oh, naughty.
And as a punishment, Seuss was stripped of his editorship at the college's humor let me say that again. I'm reading a Seuss tongue twister. That's not even a Seuss tongue twister. Exactly. Seuss was stripped of his editorship at the college's humor magazine, Jack-O-Lantern. However, he continued to publish work under a variety of pseudonyms, including T. Seuss, several other varying monikers, such as Dr. I'm going to try it, Theophorus Seuss, appeared over the years, which he eventually shortened to Dr. Seuss as his go-to professional pen name. So it's Theophorus. Have you
Theophratus or Theophratus or something?
Give it a shot.
It's supposed to be like
it's fun.
It's supposed to sound Greek or something.
Okay.
Well, Seuss was his mother's maiden name, right?
Yes.
I think I remember reading that.
Yeah, it seems like a conglomeration of Greek words. I'm sure like Theo separated, Afra separated is probably its own words. I don't speak Greek, nor do I wish to attempt.
I know at one, I don't know if it was on any of those, but I know another name he used before he did Dr. Seuss was that he took his real name Geisel and spelled it backwards. So it was like Lasigue or something like that. So, but I'm kind of glad he went with Dr. Seuss. I mean, after a while, it's one of those you have to play around with different pseudonames and pen names, and you're like, you know what? I think we'll make this stick. Because a lot of people. I remember when I was a kid, because I saw Dr. Seuss, and I was like, oh, a doctor wrote that? Because that's just what, as a kid, whenever you just see doctor, you just think guy with a smock and a stethoscope. And I'm like, oh, we got a doctor here that's writing books for kids or something like that, until I realized it's not really a doctor at all. So, but that's always kind of cool to know. What else you got, Cher?
Well, I was thinking, we were talking about Dr. Seuss. I don't know if you guys ever read a series of unfortunate events growing up.
I saw the when it came out.
Series.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious and kind of dark. And I remember like the girls, because it came out 5-6 years ago or something like that.
I think it's been longer than that.
The books are older than that. Well, they did the movie and then they did the Netflix series.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I was thinking because Lemony Snicket is the pen name. Oh, what's the author's real name?
I'll see that. I don't know.
Lemony.
Anyway, like for Dr. Seuss, that's not his real name. It's Theodore Geisel, Ted Geisel, but then he penned under Dr. Seuss. So I was thinking Lemony Snicket is sort of a correlation between that.
And I guess it kind of makes sense if you want to have like a cool name, because if you just want to say something written by John Smith, no offense to anyone named John Smith who writes whimsical books, but it doesn't seem to fit with what you're writing. So it's almost like you kind of want to have something that
give yourself a character name.
Yeah, that is just as much of a character, just as much of whimsy as the content you're writing. So I guess I can kind of see that, because even the name Seuss. Ooh, bless you.
Sorry, I was trying to hide it.
But well, Alan, cut that part out. but even the name Seuss, it's just a regular name. You didn't really think anything about it, but now that's what it's associated with. So if anyone happens to have that as a last name, coincidentally, but you're always gonna get that old joke, oh, you're eating green eggs and ham, or and all that. Oh, speaking of, I know we talk about doing that at school. When we did Green Eggs and Ham Day at school, or Sam I Am Day, or whatever it was called, and I remember very few of the kids actually eating the green eggs and ham because it was green. Now, in cartoons, that looks great. If you ever seen, you get an egg yolk and the yolk is green, and you get a slice of ham and the ham is green, well, it doesn't look natural.
They didn't hand out fried eggs or sunny side up eggs. They did scrambled.
Was it? It was scrambled.
Yeah, they did. They did scrambled eggs and ham, and with the food coloring on it, the ham had this weird like bluish color,
which is what it looks like, kind of like roast beef when it goes bad.
Then the scrambled eggs was looking kind of interesting too. So it was more for the event to be like, cool, we celebrate Dr. Seuss, but in hindsight, it was probably a lot of work for the teachers to do something that the kids weren't going to eat. And by the time they like gave us all a little plate of stuff, it was cold and kind of gross. But I guess it was a nice memory to be like, hey, we had green eggs and ham.
Yeah, so it was one of those things. But yeah, I again, and I didn't realize. When I found out that his name was Ted Geisel, because if you look at the animated intro for The Grinch, they actually have his name on there. And for some reason, when I was little, I wasn't aware, but I didn't put two and two together, because it says Dr. Seuss on one, but also says Ted Geisel on the other, and I didn't realize it was the same person, with those. Also, in terms of like The Grinch, wasn't there was a Halloween version, right? There was a Halloween version of The Grinch or something like that. I think it was like made in the 70s or something. It was a weird one. And I'm trying to remember like the whole storyline, but I don't know if it's like a... I don't
remember that. I thought there was a story where the Grinch and the Cat in the Hat paired up in a story together.
There was a pairing with that one. Was that the same one? Am I getting too mixed up? Maybe it was either that one, or there was some... I thought there was an actual Halloween Grinch episode from like the 70s. Now I have to double check, but it was weird. I watched it recently. I say recently, probably about 5 years ago, and it was the oddest thing I had ever seen. And I'm sure that's probably part of the reason why we didn't watch it as kids, because I'm sure that would have scared me. That would have definitely scared me as a kid.
Well, we were talking about Green Eggs and Ham, so did you guys know that Green Eggs and Ham was his all-time best-selling book, and it was created on a bet? So his editor bet him that he couldn't write a book using 50 words or less. So the result was Green Eggs and Ham. So although The Cat in the Hat and The Grinch are like two of his more popular characters, Green Eggs and Ham is his best-selling book. And according to Publishers Weekly List in 2011, that book has sold more than 8 million copies since publication.
Oh, nice.
How about that?
Yeah. So yeah, pretty cool. And I don't know if they're still doing. I know Netflix had a series of Green Eggs and Ham.
They did?
That's right. It was something like that.
As far as I know, they did 2 seasons. I don't have Netflix anymore, but they did 2 seasons of Green Eggs and Ham, or Sam I Am, or whatever. It was like a spinoff sort of series. But yeah.
Okay.
Most popular book.
I mean, it's an interesting. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, I say it's easy, but I know it's not. But just the fact that it's just a simple story that kind of builds, builds on another until it's like, all right, I'll try it, and then he actually likes it, So basically, it's just trying to convince someone to eat food that they don't want.
Isn't that similar to if you give a mouse a cookie and like all these other things happen afterwards?
The domino effect.
I mean, it's kind of like reverse with Green Eggs and Ham, because he says, would you, could you, in all these different ways, and finally it reverses back, and he's like, okay, I'll try it.
So it's basically badgering rhythmically. So basically, it's just him the whole time saying, will you just try this? That's basically what that is in that whole scenario with that.
Now, during lockdown, Sarah and I had made a series of videos just to kind of keep ourselves sane. One of them was based on Oh Say Can You Say? And so that is a book of tongue twisters, a Dr. Seuss book. Oh. So I actually sent you guys a tongue twister from the book. Did. Yes, and I want to see if you guys are able to
I'm
read
not good
them.
At this.
That's true. We did so well with tongue twisters.
What's funny is that for Sarah, I sent her the one that she struggled with in a video. So I want to see if 4 years later, have you improved on that particular tongue twister. So Sarah, why don't you start?
Okay, and I haven't really looked at this beforehand, so
no, it's good. You get fresh eyes on it, and if it makes you feel better, I chose the tongue twister for myself that I struggled in the video, so we're both in the same boat here. So you start with yours.
Okay, mine is called West Beast, East Beast. Okay. Upon an island hard to reach is East Beast sits upon his beach. Upon the West Beach sits the West Beast. Each beach beast think he's the best beast. Which beast is best? Well, I thought at first that the East was the best and the West was worse. Then I looked again from the West to the East, and I liked the beast on the East Beach least.
Yay! So it took you 4 years, but you finally got it perfect.
There was a moment where I think I partially did a
I think in the video you were like, "Eesh, beesh, beesh,
yeah. beesh." Yeah, I did do something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's the beast and the east, and I know they're the same, but then you have best. I think it only works in English because of the way we spell words.
Oh, there's tongue twisters in other languages. I've looked them up before. I think the main thing with tongue twisters is that you have to like not think too hard on it, because then you kind of psych yourself out and then you're messing yourself up.
So overthink.
Okay, Alan, I want to hear your tongue twister.
Food. Fritz needs Fred, and Fred needs Fritz. Fritz feeds Fred, and Fred feeds Fritz. Fred feeds Fritz with Ritzy Fred food. Fritz feeds Fred with Ritzy Fritz food. And Fritz, when fed, has often said, "I'm a Fred fed Fitz. Fred's a Fritz Fred Fred."
You messed up on the last one,
very
but you did
last
good,
one.
That was pretty good. I mean, we are reading it at a level that we know we're not going to stumble as much.
Yeah, you're not. If you read it slow enough, it's fine. Yeah, not bad. So you guys have set the bar high. Now I have to do good on mine. Okay. So in the video, when Sarah and I were reading the "Oh Say Can You Say," I had Pete Pat's Pigs, and I did stumble on this one a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So I give myself a hard one. So okay, let's see. Pete Briggs Pat's Pigs. Briggs Pat's Pink Pigs. Briggs Pat's Big Pigs. Don't ask me why, it doesn't matter. Pete Briggs is a pink pig, big pig patter. Pete Briggs pats his big pink pigs all day. Don't ask me why, I cannot say. Then Pete puts his patted pigs away in his Pete Briggs pink pigs, big pigs pig pen. Yay!
Yeah. Oh,
that was hard. That was a lot of focus. I wasn't sure if I was going to get through that one.
You did it.
I am very proud of myself.
Yeah, I can see that one being Pete's. Was it Pete's?
Well, I think in the video I kept saying Prigs. Prigs or Briggs Prig or something.
There you go. Yeah.
It was a mess and a half. I remember that one.
It's like
we'll have to repost that video just to show off our tongue twisting.
What's that newspaper headline from like the 30s? Sticks, Nick, Hicks, Picks, and it was like that was, I think that was the headlines. Yeah, Sticks, Nicks, Hick, Picks, which is dealing with like people were getting tired of seeing at least movie versions of like, you know, people from the backwoods acting all hillbilly and stuff. Like they were getting tired of seeing those movies, and they're like kind of like over exaggerating that style. And they kind of wanted, you know, it's like we enjoy good sophisticated films. We're not just a bunch of, you know, barefoot, toothless, you know, weird people live out in the docks somewhere. But I thought that was kind of interesting. That's not Seussical, but it's just it's Sticks. So I think it's Sticks, Xtix, and then Nix, Nix, Hick, Hick, and then Pix, Pix.
I mean, it sounds like something Dr. Seuss would write, so...
Yeah, Sticks, Nick, Hick, Picks, or something like that. But yeah, that was like a newspaper headline back in like the 30s, and I remember hearing that, and it does seem very Seussical. Yeah, like what you were saying. I mean, he was alive during that time. Maybe he read that and he was like, "Huh, maybe I can use something similar to that and add some rhythm to it, and then make a full poem, and then draw pictures to go with it, or something like that."
Well, on that note, we will give a final salute for our upcoming friend, Dr. Seuss, on his birthday. Sarah, in Dr. Seuss form, do you want to tell our listeners how they can find us on social media? Or just do it the regular way? That's kind of a challenge to do right off the bat.
I'll just say it in the regular way. So thank you guys. Sorry I didn't live up to the expectation of giving you the final thoughts in a Seussical manner, but you have this whole episode, so thank me for that. So yeah, we are almost at the 200 episode mark, so please binge listen to what we've done so far. Just go to doublestuffpod.com. We're also available on all the different platforms. You can also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Double Stuff Podcast, and of course on Twitter X at Double Stuff P, and that's the letter P.